Dozens of Canadian officials spent the last 2 days meeting with U.S. lawmakers. They're trying to convince their American counterparts to reconsider the Buy American policy. In particular, a tax credit worth $12,500, which is proposed for those who buy electric vehicles, but only if those vehicles are made in the United States. Canada argues it would be devastating for this country's auto sector. International Trade Minister Mary Ang led the Canadian delegation, and she is in Washington. Minister Ang, good to have you on the program after a very busy week. Full court press, more than 50 meetings, the Prime Minister at the White House before all of what you've got going on now, and it was a lot of people pressing a lot of other people. Any progress to report?
Well, David, really good to talk to you. I've been here in Washington, and you're right, about 50 meetings have taken place. I'm down here with Team Canada, so my MP colleagues from all sides of the House are also here with me, along with consul generals who represent the Canadian team in the United States, also here in Washington. Business groups are also here, and representatives from labor. So it's an important time for me to be here. The EV provisions that are in the Build Back Better bill is before the U.S. Senate. And I had meetings with about 6 senators yesterday to register Canada's opposition to this piece of the bill because of its discriminatory nature and the harmful effect that it will have on Canadian workers and the auto sector in particular. So this work continues. There's still some runway. I've learned that the senators are not yet ready to vote on this, and that they have some work to do. So it means that for us on this Canadian advocacy, that this work must continue, opening up a range of solutions, and we need to keep doing this work.
So where is that window? You say they're not ready to vote on it yet. Is the window of opportunity for Canada in the Senate? Is it after the bill has potentially passed and it's with regulation at the White House? Where's the window of opportunity to stop this harmful provision to Canada on electric vehicles?
Well, I'm here this week precisely because it is at the Senate, and this is a good time to be here. It's an important time to be here to make the case to American senators. I mean, some of the senators that I met with didn't even know that about the discriminatory nature of this part of the bill, and that it goes against the obligations, the United States obligations under CUSMA. So I made them aware about that. Others, of course, well, it's encouraging to hear that others said that they will look at what Canada's issues are, and we've agreed that we will continue to work together. I also had a meeting with bipartisan unions who have workers on both sides of the border, and working together with those bipartisan labor unions, so that again, this is about a provision that can be harmful to workers on both sides of the border, and agreeing to continue to do this really important advocacy work for Canada and for the industry.
What's the argument that actually resonates? Because you're dealing with, a U.S. government, U.S. legislators who can't seem to agree on anything, who are facing the potential of a government shutdown. They can't agree on a Pentagon bill. There's this enormous Build Back Better where Canada's concern is really just a few lines in a couple of 1,000-page document. What's the argument that you use to actually resonate with American politicians?
Well, David, we just renegotiated a free trade agreement between Canada, U.S., and Mexico. Yeah. At the very heart of that is an automotive sector where we created greater competitiveness between our countries, so that we are building more together, and that we are creating greater prosperity for our workers.
But Minister, let me jump in on you, because if we have to appeal this at CUSMA, it's going to take years, during which time investment in the auto industry in Ontario is going to go south. So I assume that's not what you want. What is the argument that is most likely to resonate with American legislators at this point?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, the absolute direct impact to the Canadian automotive sector and the future of automobile, which is EVs, is one where Canada cannot be in a position where we are not building the automobile of the future. We've been doing it 50 years, and we have absolutely integrated supply chains. It hurts American workers as much as it hurts U.S. worker. It hurts American workers as much as it hurts Canadian workers, and there is an understanding of that. What all of the senators have said to me is that they appreciated the close relationship between Canada and the U.S. They want to be in a position where they are, where they are standing by the USMCA. So this work absolutely, and this advocacy is absolutely important, particularly at this time when this is in front of the Senate.
I've got a limited time with you, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about some of the other trade irritants, and I'll start with PEI potatoes. No movement of PEI potatoes into the U.S. right now because of this potato wart issue, but that is a Canadian decision to head off potential action by the Americans. It would be harder to undo. What is it going to take to convince the Americans that our potatoes are safe?
Well, what I've said to the Americans that it's really important to follow the science. And implored that that's what takes place. My colleague, Minister Bibeau, is actively working on this issue. While I was here in D.C., I've had an opportunity to meet with one of our big customers of PEI potatoes in Puerto Rico, and I will continue to do my part in advocating for our industry, the potato industry in PEI. And that work will continue, certainly by myself, but also largely by my colleague, Minister Bibeau.
Lastly, I wanted to ask you about softwood, which is the perennial issue. I feel like I've heard about it since I was in kindergarten, and I know it preceded all of that. Where do things stand on softwood discussions?
Well, let me begin by saying what I've said to my U.S. counterparts. These tariffs are unjustified, and they're unjustified. I just met with the home builders here in America just right before this interview, and we agree that these tariffs are hurting their ability to build homes and meet one of the objectives here, which is affordability for first-time home buyers, affordability for Americans. So I'm going to keep working with organizations like the American Home Builders Association. I think that there is, alignment here in terms of purpose. I mean, they want to get more homes built. They want homes to be affordable. They want Americans to be benefiting from that. They want American jobs to derive from this very important work of building homes. Mm-hmm. And these unjustified tariffs only hurt their ability to do that.
I just want to circle back to EVs one last time. And I'm sure if I asked you how you feel the week went, you'd say you're leaving feeling optimistic. So let me ask you in a different way that I would ask. As you leave, do you think that not only you've been heard, but that you will actually get the action that Canada needs on the EV front?
Well, David, this work is not going to be solved overnight. I mean, in the couple of days that I've been here, this work will continue. There is still work to be done, and the Team Canada approach has worked in the past, and we have deployed that here. We're going to have to continue this advocacy. We're going to continue to have to find a solution for Canada. So what I would say is that and you've seen this of our government, when workers are in jeopardy, when our industry is in jeopardy, we're going to stand up for those interests, and we're going to work really hard, and we're going to do what it takes to make sure that we find a solution for Canada. So I would say that there is still much work ahead, and Canadians can certainly count on me and my government to keep doing this work.
All right, Minister Eng, thank you very much for your time. Have a safe trip back to Canada.
Thank you so much, David.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.